Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. This is the 2024 Honda Pilot Sport. And for those of you who are saying, Tom, we don't want to always see the highest trim levels on these vehicles, show us the lower trim levels. Apparently a lot of people who review cars here on YouTube tend to go with the highest trim level in their videos. So in today's video, we're not going to do that. But what we are going to do is give you the information to answer the question, do the features match the price on this model? It has an exterior color of radiant red, a black interior, and a lot of great features for the money, that's for sure. But we're going to find out if that amount of money is right for this vehicle. Let's dig in a little bit deeper and see what you can expect to find. If this is your first time looking at the new generation of the Pilot that was fully redesigned for 2023 and you're saying, is it any bigger than the previous generation? Here are the differences. The wheelbase, which is measured from the center of one tire to the center of the other, increases by 2.8 inches. Measuring bumper to bumper, you're looking at an increase of 3.4 inches. And as far as the overall width, that increases a little bit too, 1.1 to 1.2 inches in the front, 1.4 to 1.5 inches in the rear. And as far as looking here at the front end, we're going to have LED daytime running lights, LED fog lights, and you'll also have Honda Sensing, which will be adaptive cruise control, road departure mitigation braking, lane keeping assist. All of those great features. Traffic jam assist is also here. And this model comes with front wheel drive, but all wheel drive is available on all Honda Pilot trim levels. The only exception is the Trail Sport and the Elite that comes standard with all-wheel drive. And how about tire and wheel size? 255 on the width, 50 on the sidewall series, and a 20-inch wheel. And the good news here is that you do have a full-size spare. That's always something that brings some peace of mind. And how about the remote? Here is what that looks like. You can see everything that's here. You have remote start. Now you don't have turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors. So if you were curious about that, well, there's the answer to your question. They are power adjustable. They are manually folding, and you probably already saw it, but you also have blind spot monitoring, or the blind spot information center as it's called. And the remote is a proximity key. You do have the walk-away feature. That's always good to know. And you'll see that this model comes with roof rails. You're going to have the rear roof spoiler to finish things off that not only gives it a nice look back here, but that's also functional. It provides the ability to have air flow over the back window when you're driving down the road. That helps to keep that rear window clean. But when the vehicle has been sitting still long enough and the back window is dirty, or when it's raining, obviously you have the rear window wiper. And this model can tow either 3,500 pounds with front wheel drive or 5,000 pounds with all-wheel drive. Under the hood is the 3.5 liter V6. It's not the same VTEC that was previously under the hood of these models as of 2022 and earlier. This is a dual overhead cam version. In my experience, it's more responsive, a little more refined in how it operates going down the road. That's a good thing. 285 horsepower, so you only have a 5 horsepower increase. But just so you know, that's what you have. 262 pounds-feet of torque, mated to a specifically tuned for the Pilot 10-speed automatic transmission. And how about those all-important MPGs? 19 city, 27 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And if you're curious to know, the Honda Pilot has an 18.5 gallon gas tank. And as I mentioned earlier, there is your spare tire. So you're not going to have to drive around on a donut if you ever have to change a tire for some reason. Good to know you don't have to worry about dealing with a tire repair kit. 18.6 to 86.5 up to 87 cubic feet of cargo capacity, and that all depends on how you configure things, obviously. I'm just going to put this up just so things look good back here. But I do want to show you one important little trick when it comes to lowering these rear seats. Here is the strap that you use. You'll just pull on that, and I'll show you that in just a second. But one thing you want to make sure you do is make sure you re-Velcro that strap on when you let the seats down. And here's why. I'm going to use this side as an example. Do you see what happened right there? The strap went way up there, and it's not that you can't deal with that, it's just a bit of a minor inconvenience. So I'm going to go the other way with this. If I can get that to move, there we go. And all you have to do is put that back down. Much easier to deal with. That way, when I come back to raise the seats, it's much easier to get to the strap. I can reach that if I lean in far enough, but I'd rather not have to deal with that. And there is additional space right here as far as a couple little areas on the side here. Let's move this out of the way. I do want to show you one more area of cargo space. You can see what's here, and you can store more than just that string or whatever that is right there. I'm not sure what that is. Probably has a purpose. But that's good to have that space. And the nice thing back here is that you have the carpeted side of the rear floor. And let's see if I can do this. A little hard to do one-handed, but we're going to make it happen today. Let's see here. Can I pull this off? There we go. You also have the plastic side. So if you have something that's going to get that carpet dirty or stain it and you're worried about that, problem solved. And just because it's a little bit easier to show back here. If you're wondering, do these rear seats recline? Yes, they do. You can see I have the left side in the conventional position and reclined the right side. And your rear seat passengers are going to find a comfortable armrest. We'll do the armrest test right here just to prove that. You really need to put your own arm up there to know, but while we have the black interior here, we have the nice orange contrast stitching. That's a good thing. And you'll also see something else that will help rear seat passengers. And while I don't know that anybody is going to move their seat this far forward, you can see the difference in the seats. So you can move everything forward or back accordingly, depending on the situation. And how about gaining access to the third row? This can be done from either side. I'm just going to show it here on the passenger side or the right side of the vehicle. You can move the seats up and out of the way. Let's hop into the back and we'll find out how much space is back here. Now, this is where the seat would be if it was as far forward as what I showed you earlier. You can see that leg room wise, I'm good. Foot space, maybe a little tight. We'll pull that all the way back and there's still quite a bit of leg room. And I could deal with that if I had to as far as leg space goes or moving my feet around to kind of get a little bit more comfortable. It's just the way it is back here, but not too bad. And then on this particular trim level, we're going to find the air conditioning vents right here and then our cup holders for your rear seat passengers. And if somebody in the middle row forgets about the third row passengers, no problem. They can just push the button right there. The seat once again gets up and out of the way. Very easy to deal with. Now in this particular case, there is no sunroof on the trim levels that offer a sunroof for the Pilot. It's a panoramic sunroof, so gone is the conventional size. And as far as cup holders go for middle row passengers, not only are there cup holders right here, especially right here, a square box or something like that, a juice box, I don't know, whatever it is, could fit right there. But there's also the fold down armrest right here that has cup holders built in and a little bit of space for, well, whatever anybody wants to put right there. And rear air conditioning vents on the center console, as well as a couple of USB options. And we'll take a look into the front seat for the first time through the passenger side door. You're going to still find the nice, comfortable armrests here. And yeah, it is a cloth interior. Some people like that, some people don't. Obviously, you can upgrade and change that depending on trim level and available options. Also, the upper and the lower door bins here providing plenty of space. And if you want to, you can put the floor mats in here or leave them out depending on what you're going to be doing. Now, in this case, we're going to have the power adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger, as you can see. Obviously, if it's on the passenger side, it's going to be on the driver's side. Space right here for cell phones or whatever else anybody wants to put in there. And you can see that that orange contrast stitching does work its way into the driver's compartment. And then plenty of space within the glove box. And if you're wondering what this is, you'll find a wheel lock key in here. And while we're at it, I might as well go ahead and show you what that is. If I can get that open, Get that open one-handed. So here is your wheel lock key. So what's going to happen if you're not familiar with this is you will insert this into the lug wrench and it will allow you to do this. Now you're going to have a number of lugs on here that are the same. Here is your wheel lock key. That's what this is for. It goes right here. See if we can get that on there. And that allows you to get the wheel lock off. All of the other lug nuts are the same. You won't need this for these, just in case you were wondering. And we'll step back inside and take a look at USB options. The 12-volt power outlet, no wireless charging pad in this case. Not a big deal. Again, you can upgrade and take care of that depending on trim level. Push button shifter, you will find that across all trim levels. Tell me what you think about that. Some like it, some don't. Maybe it doesn't matter that much. Everybody has their opinions. I'm always curious to know what yours is. Here are your cup holders and your power parking brake, brake hold mode, your drive mode selector. And there are multiple driving modes for pretty much every situation. You can turn the auto stop start feature off right here. I do recommend doing that. It's better for the motor overall. You'll save more money by not damaging the motor over the course of time by using the auto stop feature. More money will be saved there than you'll ever save on maybe 2 to 3% worth of gas. And you have hill start, assist, and hill descent control. Also a nice deep center console, quite a bit of space in there. And the center console seems to be in a good space, or place I should say, height, as far as using that for an armrest. Obviously these seats can be raised and lowered to compensate depending on who's sitting here and if they need to maybe bring the seat down to make that easier to use. And here's what we have with the driver's side door. You can see everything that's here. I probably don't need to tell you too much about that. You don't have seat memory if you're wondering about that. Not in this case. If you want to attempt a front wheel drive burnout with your Honda Pilot, there you go. Turn traction control off and you can go for it. You can drop the lever right here and adjust your tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. And just in case you need to know, yes, you need to put that back in place before you drive down the road, because otherwise, well, that could be an interesting experience. And that's what you will be greeted by when you hop into your Honda Pilot, just so you know what's here. It's part of what you pay for, so I might as well show it to you. And apparently the hood was not closed tightly enough, so I fixed that. Now, we can take a look at the digital dashboard. You can see everything that's here. Somebody asked me one time if they could get rid of the digital speedometer right there in the center. No, you can't. So in case you were curious, now you know. And you can go right here, push the home button once and 3 times, and this is what it will bring up. It allows you to scroll through different information that you might want to see. You can make some changes as well through settings. And all I'm doing is using the scroll wheel right here. And if I want to select something, I can just push that scroll wheel. It allows me to do that. Here are the other steering wheel mounted controls. You do have the paddle shifters for the 10-speed automatic transmission if you wish to take advantage of those. And controlling the headlights and the fog lights done right here on the multitasking lever, because you also use that to use the blinkers or the turn signals that some of you use and some of you don't. Right here, you can control your front and rear window wipers too. You do use that typically, I think, when it's raining. Well, hopefully you do. Push button start, and this is the 7-inch touchscreen, and that flickering effect you see has to do with my camera. It's not really happening, just something that you deal with some of the cameras we use to shoot these videos on YouTube. A very simple system to use. Not a lot here as far as what you can do and change and all that goes. It's really pretty simplified. And when I say there's not a lot here, I'm not saying there are not a lot of great features. It just is really the more simplified version compared to the 9-inch, even though it's just as easy to use. It just has a different look. And to some people, the look of that 9-inch screen, the way the graphics are, it looks more complicated. Trust me, it's not. And you have dual zone climate control and heated seats. No ventilated seats, unfortunately. That would be a nice option to have here. And you can control whether or not the rear seating air conditioning system is on as far as the 3rd zone of climate control back there. That's probably a better way to put it than calling it the air conditioning system, right? You can laugh at that if you want to. You can sync both sides together here in the front, or you can unsync those. And let's go down here. Let's take a look at our driving modes. I told you we had driving modes. Let's start here. We're going to have normal. There's the graphic that goes with that. Here's econ. We can go down to snow. There's also a tow mode. And then at the very top, you're going to have your sport mode. That's what you might want to be in if you ever wanted to turn traction control off and try that front wheel drive burnout. Okay, let's get out on the road for our test drive with this 24 Pilot Sport. It's a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. It definitely has plenty of get up and go for what it needs. It's not meant to be a hot rod, but you might wonder, well, is 285 horsepower enough? Yes, it seems to be more than enough. It would be nice to see how it works with a little more weight, maybe in the interior, maybe pull a trailer and see how that goes, but based on what I'm experiencing, I think everything is just fine where that is concerned. And the good news beyond that is that you have a comfortable ride quality. It seems to be comfortable based on my personal experience. That's one of those things where you really need to hop into these vehicles for yourself and see what it's like to drive, because you might say, oh man, that's very comfortable, or you might say it's not quite as comfortable as I was hoping it would be. It's just one of those things where you really need to try it for yourself. In my personal estimation, based on my daily driving experience with other vehicles, yeah, I think it's just fine. And the transmission is nice and smooth, acceleration is good. And for those who are out there and still waiting to buy a new vehicle after many, many years of not having a new vehicle, well, maybe you're thinking to yourself, I don't really know for sure that I'm ready for all of that technology. As I said earlier in the video, this is some of the easiest technology to learn, and it really doesn't matter which touchscreen the Pilot has that you may choose to purchase. Both are equally as simplistic to learn and to use. But if you're looking for the more simple looking, I guess this would be it. But one way or another, nothing complicated here. Now, one thing I will say here is you are going to need a USB cable to pair your phone, but you can still pair your phone, no big deal where that's concerned. But a very enjoyable driving experience. The ride quality is good, the seats are comfortable, and obviously can be adjusted. No matter what the situation is, you're good to go where that's concerned. And even though in my situation, I've been driving for a long time. You know, I'm in my late 40s, and based on that, I started driving when I was actually 15 years old. So I'm used to looking over my shoulder into my blind spot. The reason I bring that up is because if you're like that, if you have that same habit like I do, and you look into the blind spot back there, you can't see very well. The good news, obviously, you have blind spot monitoring. That eliminates that as being an issue. And if your mirrors are set correctly, it really helps as well. So it's not as big of a deal as some people may make it out to be. And just for the fun of it, let's see here. Let's change driving modes. So I'm going into sport mode. Can I tell a difference? Yeah, a little bit. Let's go into econ. I started off at normal. Yeah, I can't really say I can tell a big difference in how the Pilot is getting down the road. It just depends on your situation, what you might want to use or whatever the situation is. Now, I will say this, if you're going to be living in an area where it snows a lot, you saw that you have that snow mode, you probably already know this, but I would not recommend going with front-wheel drive. I would definitely opt for all-wheel drive. That's going to be better where all of that is concerned. So you have quite a nice balance here. A comfortable ride quality, plenty of power for getting down the road. The interior is nice and spacious, especially here in the first and second rows, and you have a very spacious cargo area, quite a bit offered by the Pilot. And in case you were curious, where exactly does the Sport trim fit into the Pilot lineup? It's the second trim level, so it's not the lowest, but it's the second to the lowest. You get a lot of features for what you're looking at as far as that trim level goes. So tell me what you think. Do the features match the price? And there are a few additional features on this particular model that Holmes Honda has added. I gave you the base price on the screen earlier. I also gave you the price with those added features. I don't know that every single Honda dealership does that, but just so you know, maybe you want to come in and buy this particular model, which you can do. There's a link down in the description of the video if you would like to know more. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda for loaning me this 2024 Honda Pilot Sport for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.